First, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Chikeze Grand Ihesiulors. Well, my first name is Chikeze. Some of you were expecting Grand there, but so we're talking about preventing eye injuries, and that will be to prevent them at home, at work, and at play, and then quickly to look at how to care for the eyes. So the eyes is fantastic. Do you know some animals don't have eyes, and some have small eyes, and some have very big eyes? Now, which animal doesn't have an eye? A worm. The worm doesn't have an eye. An ostrich has an eye bigger than its brain. And then the colossal squid has the biggest eye in the animal kingdom. That is 27 centimeters wide. That eye is so big. What about the eyes of you? The eyes of man is it's small, like ping pong ball, and it's 24 millimeters in size. But it's so complex that the father of evolution, Charles Darwin, said, if you say the eyes is a product of natural selection, that it's totally absurd, because it's so complex and it's so beautiful. The intricacies of the eyes, all the blood vessels and everything, that made people to give a lot of quotes about the eyes, the window of the mind, they call it. A doctor said, when something is not right with your eyes, nothing is right with the world. And then Jesus Christ said, it's the light of the body. It's a very key organ in our bodies. That's why we're eye care providers, optometrists, ophthalmologists, and the rest of them. We have branches, and one of that important branch is the environmental optometry. Now, environmental optometry deals with taking care of your eyes and your vision in respect to your environment. So your home works, most times it's home, stay at home now. So it's more of at home, school, work, play, and to make sure it's responsible for prevention of eye injuries in these places and vision assessment of workers and patients. Now, what is an eye injury? Simply wound on the eyes, just straight to the point. But I just give you a bit more definition. It's damage to the eyes and the structures around the eyes. So this damage could be a direct damage or an indirect one. We'll just mark that word, direct and indirect. I will come to this at the end of this talk. Don't forget. Now, direct injury to the eye that could be caused by mechanical or chemical or electrical or radiation, so UV, or these hazards or these things that cause injury, they have an impact on your eyes and they can cause eye injury or damage. Let's see some hazards. Some of them are common: toys, glues, chemicals, paintballs, fireworks. It's causing a lot of eye injury when children are playing. Nylon wraps and the rest of them. Then at work, you have mechanical hazards like flying objects, hot solids, chemicals like fumes and radiation, UV, infrared, and electric shock. Electric shock can cause electric cataract. Let's move on. Let's classify eye injuries. Now, eye injuries could be open globe, where your eyes are open and you get the hazard into your eye. That could cause perforation, penetration, and the rest of them. And closed globe is when your eyes are closed and you get a punch in your eyes, the blunt trauma, contusion, and the rest of them. And some classifications can tell you about the types. So it's severe, it's mild, it's moderate, and some can classify them as, in terms of grade, the effect it has on in your vision, visual acuity, or the effect it has on your pupil if it's affecting the response of your pupil to light. And then if it's happening at the front of your eyes or the back part of your eyes. These are different classifications that are given. But this group in 1997 met, and they came up with something called a Birmingham Eye Trauma Terminology System that can help eye practitioners to communicate and make decisions regarding eye injury. So they just made the classification simpler. So eye injury could be closed globe or closed eye, and open globe or open eye, and then these are the classifications. Later, they came up with something called an ocular trauma score. And this is just basically looking at the severity and the effects of the eye injury on vision and the rest of them. I won't go into all that detail, so don't worry. Now, how much people are suffering from eye injuries? I'll tell you. Do you know that the eye injury is the major cause of preventable one-eye blindness and visual impairment. So, and it varies with age. Children suffer more from eye injuries than adults beyond 70 years. And sex, mostly males, they're so adventurous. Males 3 to 5 times more than females suffer from eye injuries. Status, season, geography, when it's time for sports, people are out there playing, they can have more eye injuries. At home, children are the #1 culprits of people that suffer from eye injuries at home, over 70% of them. Right, so I did a study with my student, well, my student did a study, and we came up with this finding, and they were just agreeing with the findings of all the studies that eye injuries are serious and is the major cause of preventable one-eye blindness or monocular blindness. So it's really true. It's not like hearsay. We studied and found out. WHO has also stated a lot that eye injury is a major public health issue. So it's causing open eye injuries affect people, almost 203,000 people every year, and 19 million people at the moment are blind in one eye. And I told you it's the major cause of one-eye blindness. So eye injuries play a big role. So we have to do something about it. What should we do? Like, we need to make sure we're checking the eyes very well. So do your evaluation. Once you see someone come into your office, like I had this wonderful mechanic that did brilliant work in my car. When I met him, I noticed that one of his eyes were had corneal scar. So I was asking, what's wrong with you? I just woke up one morning and then I couldn't see my eyes I had discomfort, and he went to this place and that place, and it ended up with a corneal scar. And I was wondering, then I looked again, I saw another mechanic, a panel beater, if you understand what I mean, in Nigeria. So yeah, the giant of Africa. So this panel beater was doing some welding without a goggle. He was doing some welding without any shield. I was asking, hey friend, if this damages your eyes, do you know you can't get a duplicate? Your eye is so precious. And he said, leave that, bros, leave that one. That's the balance we use over here. Right, so it's a serious condition. When you find someone coming to your clinic, don't quickly put that eye drop. Make sure you do your proper history before and after the injury. Try to find out, like my previous presenters said, make sure your case history is done very well. Location, check for where it occurred. Make sure of the head posture and the rest of them before you think about putting that eye drop. Next, do more investigations. If it's more severe, you can think about doing CT scan or some of the radiological sort of techniques you can use. But if it's a metallic intraocular foreign body, be careful not to use MRI. You can use CT scan. Right. Management, quickly. Now, in management, if it's a chemical one, thorough eye wash, 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure you keep the eyes open while the water is flushing into the eyes, and try to advise them to move their eyes. This is first aid, so make sure you check all the things. Do wound cleaning, tetanus if they need to do that. And then if it's beyond your scope of practice, do well to refer, please. Apply no pressure if it's an open eye wound. So if it's a penetrating or perforation, the injury. Now let's go to the crux of the matter, which is prevention. Prevention is a serious thing. Well, prevention is better than cure. We know all this now. The legislation, standards, and policies have been set down to make sure eye injuries don't cause blindness. But the first thing they would say is identify, eliminate, or isolate the hazard. And the protection, the PEP, personal eye protection, so your glasses and all the other shield or goggles, they are the last line of defense. The first thing you need to do in the house, in the play, so at recreation or at work, identify the hazard. That's the first thing you need to do. And then identify, eliminate, and isolate. Thank you. Now, if you're going to give any eye protection, make sure the glasses or the goggles is made up of polycarbonate material, because it's going to resist impact more than the CR39 we use currently. All right, so continuing on the prevention, education, please tell the parents, tell the caregivers that eye injuries is causing serious problem to everyone. One eye blindness is common now because of eye injuries. So tell them to supervise their kids, keep all the sharp toys away from them, those toys with sharp edges. Yeah. Now, you can also have celebrities like Meghan Markle wearing the sunglasses and posing there to sort of tell people that it's important when you're outside, you wear your wide brim hat and your sunglasses. Or you can organize Health Alliance programs like Kids Safe, or some program that will promote the use of protective or protection eyewears, just to make sure people, when they're playing or they're doing a work, they're wearing their eye protection. Right, so you can also, I've said this before, so I'll just move on. When you're talking about sports, you should look at the type of sports. So some sports are low risk, some are medium risk, and some are very high risk, like boxing. So these sports, you need to wear those protective eye wears, okay? Right, let's move on. Now, if it's outdoor sports, like shooting sports, snow sports and the rest of them, these ones you need to be careful to choose the right tint. So if you're doing sports at night, red tints will be good. I'm going to the optics of that. Polarized filters are for snow sports, and if you're going to be driving, make sure your glasses have an anti-reflection coating to save you from the reflections and make you safe from injuries. Now, eye and work, like I told you about my friend that's welding without goggles, so he should look at this picture again. Okay, now if you're using computer, make sure of the distance you are in front of your computer. And then you can apply this rule, 20-20-20 rule. What does that mean? My students will know this. So if you're using a computer, you can work with a computer, and then after 20 minutes, get up and look 20 feet ahead for 20 seconds before you come back to your computer. I hope you can say this. 20 minutes in front of the computer, stand up, look 20 feet ahead, and then for 20 seconds, do that before you come back to your computer. If you don't learn anything today, go home with 20-20-20 rule. Okay, so other things you can go home with to care for your eyes, check your lighting, don't have blobs that are flickering so they don't affect your vision. Make sure you do some exercise so that to give you proper sleep and your eyes will rest very well. Clean water, drink water and leave the alcohol. Take fresh air, leave the tobacco. Right, this is the place that I would like us to look closely. Now, if you read most studies, they tell you direct eye injuries caused by this and that, some mechanical, chemical, like I said before. They've missed out this part, that you can have indirect eye injuries by not eating the right foods. If you're not eating foods rich in vitamins A, C, E, B, K, and antioxidants, which you find in fruits, vegetables, nuts. If you don't eat these foods, you're causing an indirect eye injury, and that could start from the back of your eyes, your retina, and then your cornea. Thank you for listening, and stay safe.